Okay, so I had an incredible March reading month. I read 14 books in total, and the majority of them were 4 stars or above. As usual, I will try and be quick, but I will take up the whole 10 minutes. Noctadia. It was just so good. It was so good. One thing that we need to clear up though, this is not a romantasy, it's not a fantasy, it's not a paranormal romance. I've seen it on all of these lists of other people's book recommendations. It's none of those things. It's none of those things. There is a fictional parasite in the story, but other than that, there is no fantasy element to this book. Now that's off my chest. I loved it. I adored it. Dr. Death is just delicious. If you can listen to this on audio, I do recommend it. The slow burn was done excellently on this. I feel, especially with student-teacher forbidden trope, we need that slow burn. We need the build-up. Otherwise, what are we doing here? Also can come off a little bit too creepy from the teacher side if there isn't some kind of resistance and push and pull. So that was done very well. And it just makes the caving, give-in moment all the more satisfying. Not a book, so I'm not rating it, but I did finally finish Manacled. I'm not joking when I say it's taken me nearly 2 years to finally finish this fic. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, I just needed to take breaks in between, and every time I took a break, it took me a lot to then get the energy to go back into it, because I was very scared reading this. It wasn't as bad trauma-wise as I thought it was going to be. It was still traumatic, it was still a lot, but it was not as bad as I was expecting. So I finally finished it, loved it. I've also been absolutely adoring the Cruel Shifterverse Aaron's books. So I read the first 3, which were Sadie's books, maybe 2 years ago. And I've been putting off reading Aaron's books just because I knew I was going to love them. It has my favourite trope ever, which is Secret Girl, where she's disguising herself as a boy, given that sort of Mulan vibes. I love that. I seek it out. And I was saving it for a rainy day, and it was a rainy day, so I needed to read Aaron's stories. Considering how long these books are, we're talking 700 plus pages, I flew through them. I finished books 1 and 2. I could have finished the 3rd book this month because I've only got 2 hours left, and I could have finished that, but I stopped reading it because I want to savour it and I don't want it to end. I just love the way Jasmine writes her characters, especially Aaron. She's that like self-deprecating sort of kind of really depressed, but really also quite sarcastic and dry and funny. It's my kind of humour, and I like it. And I get that it won't be everyone's favourite type of humour, especially because there's a lot of internal monologuing, but it's funny to me. And I just love it. It's got all. I also love as well, there's nothing I appreciate more than when the FMC has to go through a lot of pain and hurt, and she really gets put through it in these books. I don't think I've read another book where the FMC is put through as much physical pain as what she has in these stories. And I don't know why, I just love it. I love it. I eat it up. It's obviously a bullying why choose as well, so there's the bullying aspect. We've got some delicious grovel because she does not forgive easily. In fact, I think, even nearly 70% way through this last book, I don't think she's fully forgiven what they did. So I love that. I love it. I love her not just giving in as soon as they change their minds. It's a war training academy. Like I said, the first book she is disguised as a boy. So you have all the big reveals. She has a lot of injuries that she hides as well. So we have all the big reveals of that. So we have some excellent who did this to you, who hurt you, and then all of those reveals. Every time we get a reveal, we get everyone's POV reaction to it, and I love it. I eat it up. I read Saving Ascara and Chasing Earth. This is a sci-fi romance, alien romance. He's very, very alien-like, almost like the Predator is the kind of vibe I was getting. It's just so good. It has what I look for in an alien sci-fi romance, where they are so very far from how humans behave. So they have their own sort of cultural things that they do. They are very different to how we act, and even more so when the mating happens. They do it very differently to how we would. It's quite violent, the way that they would go about things. So he has to learn how to navigate this very soft woman. And so she's a doctor as well, and it's just so good. Spice when we get to it. It's very slow burn. It's very long drawn out because they do not like each other when they first meet. It is kind of an enemies, more just sort of like a dislike. They don't find each other attractive, so it is a very slow burn, slow build up of that sort of respect and friendship that then leads to thinking, he actually looks okay. But yeah, when we get to it, it's very steamy. I absolutely do recommend, if you are okay with your alien romances, with the alien being super alien like looking and acting. It's quite dark a little bit as well, so just do that going in. I had my arc of Hair Tortured Beast from E.P. Barley, which I'm sure you've probably seen all of my page if you follow me at all, that I've been raving about this book, about this series. I love it. It is Why Choose Rejected Mates, emphasis on the rejection. She rejects them first for her own reasons, mostly to protect them, and then they don't take that very well and they then start treating her horribly. And so this book focuses on Xander. Each book we're sort of focusing on one particular mate and going through their traumas. We have flashbacks to what happened in their past and why they act the way they do towards Leah. And so this one is really bad. He treats her horrendously. She surrenders herself and she is then his captive. He treats her like a slave. She wears a collar. She sleeps in a cage. They feed her dog food. She's then also surrendering herself to be experimented on because she's the last of her kind. So she has all these science experiments, people wanting to look at all of her bits. It's pretty grim. Really horrible things happen to her. Towards the end of this book, we do start getting the grovelling happening, as we like to see. But with this series, each one ends on a massive cliffhanger. So just know that I do believe there's only one more book due to come out now, and that's coming out at the end of this year, I do believe. So you won't have long to wait if you want to start reading the series now. It's so good. I read Captured, which is another alien sci-fi romance, but this one, they are very human looking aliens. They have come to take over the Earth and they want women for their breeding program because, Mars needs women. Species is dying out, so she is captured, put into a breeding program. He is super grumpy, super cold, like unaffected. Because they have never really had enough women to go around. Women have died out for a long time. They've been using robots to pleasure themselves. And so when he first has an interaction with her, he doesn't realise that human women don't just self-lubricate on their own. They need some help. She calls him out on his brutal treatment of her. It's a really good story. I loved it so much. Cover a lot of topics on culture, the way we're raised, just what it's like to not have women in your society and what you lose from having that. It's beautiful. Love it. I'm running out of time. I read the Dylan St. James Omegaverse duet. It was very fun. I liked book one a little bit more than book two. She is a Omega in hiding as a beta. She helps other Omegas escape bad situations. It was fun. I liked it. Lone Wolf's Rejected Mate by Kate C. Wells. I haven't read a book in this series that I haven't liked so far. Some a little more than others, but again, it's a yummy, delicious read. Jasper Vale, it was fine. It's not my favourite in the series, but I enjoyed it. It was good. I read Power, Mum's Fiancé, Taboo, Forbidden. Really spicy. So much spice. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. Not like that he called her my Lolita. Ugh. Hidden in Brutal Devotion. Quick, short, spicy, but emotional connection. Why choose? Lots of hidden secrets, and it's just very delicious. I'm really enjoying this duet. I nearly finished the second book, and yes, I do recommend. Some darker themes, just check your trigger warnings, but there we go. I got through everything in, like I said, just about 10 minutes. So yes, happy reading, everyone.